Welcome to the announcement of the free update 9 and a pretty interesting teaser at the end, which most likely is going to be something to do with parades of some sort. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It's like with these very nice post-credit scenes that you're usually seeing. There is a video that I can share with you, and we are going to have a look at certain things that Frontier have been cooking for update 9 it is. So first of all, we get a very nice look at the arcades. We are getting some coaster improvements, and we're getting a lot of little fixes, things, and so on. I'll be able also to share a couple of other things from the update notes, but it's a bunch of fixes. So first of all, let's stay at this frame, because oh boy, this frame is absolutely gorgeous. You can see there is a lot of different things, and bear in mind, I'm not English speaking. I have no idea what these things are all called, but we do get the classical arcade machines. We do have these kind of air hockey kind of thing. We have some loopy, no, how's it called, like what these like balls kind of whatever. Then down here, this looks to be like the Teller Fortune, or how that thing is called. I think it's English, the same in English, but yeah. So air hockey looks fantastic. How they play from above, you can see also like there's a counter going up for what they are. The count is, this is kind of the, as I said, I think it's a Teller Fortune, which is funny because in German Teller means played. Then you have this, oh my god, hit the mole, what's that called thing? Oh, I don't know if that's called, but yeah. Then you have got some classic basketball loops. You've got this hammer thing. You also saw briefly that is that kind of a ring game over here. We also do have our returning things from the first game, we should say. This guy over here is a returner. This time around he is flexi-color, which is great. And then we also, before we speak about these classics, but let's go quickly back. Here you can see this is the claw machine we got in the first game as well. If you don't remember, in the first game we had a couple of things, and I'm wondering, I'm missing one thing I haven't seen. There's also like a popcorn vending machine kind of thing that we had, but it's not in here as far as I can tell from the video, so I'm hoping that it might actually be hidden somewhere. But yeah, we got these things back. A couple of little details added, like little wheels below this thing. Very cool. You can get King Coaster out of here as a plushie, which is really cool. And then we get some classic arcade machines from Atari. I mean, the connection is very obvious, but so cool to get these classics. I mean, obviously they won't be flexi-color of any kind of thing, I guess, but they look really cool, like the classic Pong, Asteroids, and Centipede. That is so freaking cool to have these originals. So if you want to do like a proper retro arcade, you can put these in very nicely indeed. Pretty stoked with how they did this. Like the animations and stuff for them playing looks really cool. And a little downside here, I've been seeing too many people again playing in their wetsuits and swimsuits. That means there's still no chance to really, you know, make sure that this is an area where you're not allowed to go in. Anyways, you can see it seems to work pretty similar to souvenir shops. Like you have got a counter where they can similarly, I guess, redeem prices. There's like a price counter, as it says top here, and you can use these multi-select tool to connect all these things together to form like an arcade, which is pretty cool because that means that it is similar to what we are used to having now with the arcade, with the souvenir shops. You don't need a dedicated building of some sort. You can plop them anywhere in. Lucky me, because otherwise my plans to prepare the arcade for like a forest wouldn't have worked properly. So that's kind of cool. They're adding all these things together, and then these things can be used to redeem prices. Yeah, here you can see there is the wall for price redemption. We got some plushies. Unfortunately, I don't see any new plushies, which is a shame. That would have been a super opportunity to integrate more plushies of more entertainers. I think that would have been good. But anyways, I can't see them. But looking at what's all going on, I will have to change my opinion from my announcement video, my actual video about the cards a couple days ago. But I'll get to that at the end when I do a bit of a review of what we are seeing. So then we get a whole kind of improvements here, and this is for the coasters. So first thing, I'm obviously, this is another kind of Rudy update I am a little bit annoyed but then very happy about. So they do get us the opportunity to turn off the coaster lights. So I will have to re-upload a version of my golden coaster because that one was a bit annoying that the light was turned on at all times. Then we also get a couple of more interesting things. We get a lot of different track variants, like thicker beams and thicker spines for a couple of coasters, which is really cool because people have been wanting coaster variants all of the times. This brings me closer to a point I'll discuss later about all these coaster fixes. There's one thing that hovers around all of these. And then we get a whole bunch of blueprints, my friends. And by that, I mean a whole bunch of blueprints. In the update notes, there are a lot of blueprints mentioned for all kind of themes. This goes really along with a lot of the casual players wanting more flexibility to play, and the update is coming on the 30th of April. But then, if you stick here, you get a couple more frames, and this one is going to be interesting. So over here you can see this looks like a backstage area where certain things are in maintenance mode, as it seems. There's like a one of the arcade pieces. There is a sequencer, and I'm not really sure, but the sequencer might look a little bit different. These light bulbs I don't know, and this kind of piece over here I don't know either. Also on the left hand side there is a trim of some sort, or a column. I can't really tell. This is something I can't really say what piece that is, because it's definitely not from the Greek theme, because the Greek theme is definitely having a bit more marble stuff. So this is a pretty cool stucco kind of counter with a really nice classic pattern. I am a big fan of that one too. But then comes in the frame that actually gives a lot away, because this is Afetur Temi and Vuror Buhasapi, and I looked them both up. You can do so. There is a website called the plankotranslator.com, and there you can translate literal Planko into English. This has been formed out of the official dictionary, so it's not guessing of anything. And this says parade times, and this says plus fireworks, and that is obviously pretty damn cool, because that means we are getting parades. This is not even a teaser. Frontier's really giving it away here, and yeah, this is really crazy. What I want to talk about in a bit is some pieces, because we can already tell some pieces in here. You can see this kind of metal frame pieces, whatever, and oops, let's get one back. This is a big teaser over here, and then on the right hand side this looks like a sign. I first thought that's a Western sign, but the texture is too good. It's looking too clean, too good. And then we get this clock over here and a whole bunch of it looks like almost deranged pieces. Down here you have Queen Splash plushie, and down here there's looking like a classic column, like one of these bollards kind of things. What that is, I can't really tell. This looks like one of the pieces from some of the coasters, I believe, but I can't really tell. Could also be like it could also just be a proper eye of some sort. But now let's skip a couple frames forward, because this is the absolute crazy trailer over here. So let's go up until here, it seems. Now, this is the frame we have to stick at for a moment. I have absolutely no news what exactly is coming, but obviously the sign gave away it's about parades of some sort, and this seems to be our first proper look at some floats, I guess, and this looks somewhat like, I don't know, a station of some sort. There's our classical kind of yellow lines down here, and what's also interesting is these bollards we've seen in the previous shot, they are now yellow, which means they are flexicolor, and this is not a trivial thing, because I had a little bit of a worry, because these things have such a great texture. You can see there are a couple of these greenish metal frames over here, and all of them seem to be then flexicolor. Also, there's like a Mickey Mouse hand over here. This is such a fun little item. Like these hands you can to purchase at Disneyland, so that is another cool thing, hopefully for the souvenir shops. And then like some metal pieces over here. I can't really wrap my head around what this would go in, but it looks like some vintage kind of stuff. I mean, we did had a vintage pack in Planet Coaster 1, but it wasn't a scenery pack. It was vintage rides, but we never really had a vintage pack. So if that is going to be a vintage pack, I'm so in for that. Like, this looks like absolute classic pieces, loads of golden metal stuff in general. We've seen these kind of stucco columns, so maybe that comes along with a lot of nice stucco pieces here and there. A big fan of that. But yeah, I mean, this guy over here looks also super vintage. He looks like a type of, I don't know, circus manager of some sort, or manager of a classic vintage fun fair of some sort. Like this very classical kind of striped trousers, this jacket, almost looking like a I don't know, can't even get around what this is. And then, yeah, just in general, it seems to be like the new entertainer, I believe it is, with that, like, a stick over here to walk. Yeah, that used to be something that my grandpa always used. Very interesting, guys. I am super stoked. And what's also interesting is reveal coming 18th of June. Reveal. That's not release. So we have to wait another 2 months for potentially the next DLC or whatever, which also gives me hope that it will come alongside another free update, because I was fearing that this is going to be a situation where we are having like the 30th of April gonna be our update, and then the and then funnily enough, the like 1st of June may already be the DLC. That would be just 1 month in between. But now, as it's 2 months in between, that is pretty interesting. Now, let's get back to the other frame, just simply to give you a bit of a look at this while I do my little conclusion here. Now, I think the free update, I have to change my mind a little bit, because seeing all these animations for all these various arcade machines, there are definitely more arcade machines than I thought they would. So very, very happy about this. But I must admit that I'm still a little bit like, there could have been more, you know. I'm very happy about the arcades, don't get me wrong. It's a free update, so there's no need to complain about something you pay for not being good enough. It's a free update, adding certainly something we haven't had in the game, which is great. And obviously, they have teased for the DLC, there is going to be something that we haven't had in the game. And parades are exactly that. Parades are definitely something different that Planet Coaster has never seen. And honestly, looking at the arcades right now, they seem to be the free game replacement in a way for parades, because parades will break with a long tradition of Frontier, I assume, and this is that they never introduced a mechanic to the game that you don't at least have as a free variant of some sort. You know, with the diving animals, you at least got one animal that dives in the free game. With certain things in this game, you get some really cool DLC pieces, but you have certain things that are in the base game as well. This time around, it seems to be the first DLC that comes with a completely new area for the game that is only DLC, and I'm happy they do this. I'm fine with this. This can be a way of doing it, and people really want to have parades, so it's a win-win for everyone. Really looking forward. However, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and that is all the updates on coasters. Let's see if I skip to the right point. Like the whole improvement of coasters, which I love, but at this point I'm like, why do we still have the separation of, let's say, the V&N coasters and the whatever, like it's B&M obviously, and the Vekoma coasters and all these kind of things. We get now all these individual updates of thicker track and stuff like that, and you know, this one is in one of the flawless coasters, for example, and I'm guessing, as I said, this is going to be for all V&N coasters. Why don't we just have now manufacturers tracks and then the different cars on it? Because that would make so much more sense to have all the opportunities and all the flexibility of these rides with all the extra pieces without having a bajillion coasters. So essentially what you have is a V&N track piece and then all the type of coasters that go on. I'm happy if they change this for flying and suspended coasters. That is definitely obviously a bit of a different story because it's not essentially the same track. But for all the others, that would be an option to bring things together to make it a bit more streamlined at the end of the day. But yeah, so what you think, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? I will be streaming tomorrow night again, so if you want to talk about that, this is your location to be in. We are going to talk about this. We are going to prepare more for it, I guess, in Planet Coaster. Are we going to play some Planet Zoo? I don't know yet. I'll let you know on my community wall or in Discord. So join if you want to, subscribe if you haven't already, and now let me know in the comments, what do you think about the free update of Kates and all these kind of updates for like coasters and stuff like that, and all the fixes and blueprints that we are getting. I'm not going to read out all the update notes. You will find them potentially on Frontier's website right now, so you can read them all in detail. It's kind of long. It's like a, I don't know, 8 pages document, so that would not be good for the video. But other than that, what do you think about this teaser for what is going to be some sort of a, I don't know, vintage DLC? I'm going to call it vintage DLC. Parade DLC seems weird. Hopefully there's more than just parades in there. But yeah, let's call it vintage DLC. No idea if it is, but yeah, happy to hear your opinion. Now have a good one and goodbye.